Well, we finally gotten to the point where we're going to actually cover the door panels. Now, I will be the first person to tell you that I have had nothing but trouble with this thing. This is actually the third version of covering this door panel. I've come into some serious problems when it came to this. Now, I originally talked about how this wasn't going to be a major issue, but actually what it is that it's not the curve or the step. It is what happens to the vinyl as you try to do it. It's all the gathering problems that I have to deal with. Leftovers here on the side, there'll be some lines, and down here you might have a couple lines or something like that. The other one, which honestly, I'm resting on my own laurels on this. I'll be the first person to tell you that I really screwed up when I thought about these door panels. This area here is extremely hard to do. You've got the surface coming up that goes flat right here. Well, you can vinyl all this and into the curve, no problem. But when you get to about right here, this changes extreme. It's an extreme turn on itself. And so the depth here, plus also this angle, you can't get anything. So you literally have to bring your vinyl in and you have to vinyl from about midway in the door up, and then midway door down is the only way you can vinyl this door panel. So you get up to here, and you have to lay the vinyl all the way into the corner, so you got to pull all the gather out that's happening in here, and then you're left with basically looks like a pocket. And so you have to pull this thing way up over this. It's really hard to do, but you end up pulling this over, and you don't get any lines and stuff, but you'll see in the finished piece. But this is I've actually had to redo this door panel. This is the third time that I've taken to cover these, because it has not been fun whatsoever. I've got to admit, these parts down here, the part that I originally talked about, where the hard part was, that actually turned out to be the easiest thing in the whole damn door. Because you have negatives. You have these reverse negatives like here, and again you have this negative back here. The door handle area is right here. This area right here is another one of these wonderful hard things to deal with and stuff. So, but anyway, like I said, I'm going to be covering these tonight, and we'll be going from there. We're at the halfway point. As you can see, the two front doors are vinyled. There was again, I have to seam it here. Now what you're looking at right now is just simply the layup, more or less. I've got everything on there. I've got all the basics vinyl down, but I haven't done all the detail work. So I've still got to go and pull all this around. But all the detail is there. Like I said, all the bottom piece here is done. As you can see here, these are hard and hell to do. These corners and all that stuff. This corner up here, and if you look at this, I don't know if the camera's going to give us a detail, but a shadow. But you can see right there. You see that stretch? I tried my best to get rid of all the stretches and stuff, but they're going to show up sometimes. But as you can see, this is how much tension is on here right now in this corner, just to be able to get that. But there are going to be some areas where you have no choice. This is going to have a little bit of a stretch around this corner here. But in general, this is what it looks like. I'll actually show you a video a little later in this presentation. I'm going to show you on the rear doors. I've actually used the front doors as my test pigs. You can see that there's a little bit in this right here. You can see it looks like wrinkling or something in there. Now the camera, of course, is going to show it up even worse than it really looks. But what it is that the contact cement below it, even if you try to spray it on as best as you possibly can, it has a tendency to be lumpy. And when you're pulling something as hard as you're pulling on this material to try to get it around certain corners, that's going to show up. One of the things I don't necessarily like about this particular vinyl, this vinyl is what's called four-way stretch, is that the actual vinyl material is extremely thin between the backing, and the top layer. And so when you pull on this really, really hard, it actually shows up. Now, these areas here, which are, like I said, they kind of look a little lumpy and stuff, and they're actually less than what you think. It's just vinyl has a tendency to show, all evils. But what will happen is over time, this will settle down flat because the heat in the car and stuff like that, the contact cement will actually sit down flat, and once it starts to all the vapor material goes out of it, it'll get better. Plus also, when I go to do a vacuum pull on this thing, once they're done, I'm going to put them in a bag. I'm going to pull them. That 14 pounds per square inch is going to put a lot of pressure on this areas, and it'll make it look really good. But before I even install these things, I'll probably leave them out in the sun and let the sun get to them, and warm them up. But it is difficult not to have have a perfect surface. I've tried for years to come up with the only way you can do it is like if you have padding, there's some sort of padding underneath it and stuff. But in general, you'll have this one here has been sitting out in the sun. You can see this is starting to look a little bit better. And again, it's just part of vinyling. It comes with it. No matter how much you try, you can't get rid of it. So.